Hello my dear friends, how are you all? I hope you all are good and fantastic. So my dear friends, you are very welcome in our lecture number 1 of quadratic equation. Okay, so my dear friends, I hope you will enjoy this lecture. So without wasting the time, let's start. Yes, so now today we are going to discuss introduction of quadratic equation. Introduction of quadratic equation. Okay, so in this chapter we will learn the concept of quadratic equation, standard forms, nature of roots, method of finding the solution for given quadratic equation with a lot of examples. Okay, so in the coming lectures we are going to discuss a lot of topics. So in this lecture we are going to discuss introduction of quadratic equation. So first of all, we have to know what is quadratic polynomial. What is quadratic polynomial? Okay, my dear friend. So, a polynomial which is in the form of ax square plus bx plus c, okay, where a, b and c are real numbers, okay, and the most important condition is that a should not equals to 0. A should not equals to 0. Then we can say this expression is quadratic polynomial. Okay, my dear friends, I hope you get this point. So now, my dear friends, what is quadratic polynomial? So the quadratic polynomial is in the form of ax square plus bx plus c okay, and where a, b and c are what are the real numbers, and most important condition is a is not equal to 0. Let's suppose if a is equal to 0, then x square 0 into x square plus bx plus c, which become bx plus c. So this is not a quadratic polynomial. This is what? This is linear polynomial. So we can say that quadratic polynomial is that polynomial in which the maximum degree is what? 2. What is? Yes. So we can write in quadratic polynomial, okay, degree is what? Degree is 2. And in linear polynomial, degree is 1. Highest degree is 1, and in quadratic polynomial, highest degree is 2. Okay, my dear friends, I hope you get this point. So now let's come on quadratic equation. Quadratic equation. So what is quadratic equation? So when we equate a quadratic polynomial to a constant, when we equate a quadratic polynomial to a constant, then we get a quadratic equation. Okay, my dear friends, so what is quadratic equation? when we equate a quadratic polynomial to a constant, then we get a quadratic equation. Okay, so my dear friends, so any equation of the form p of x is equals to c, where here is p of x is our quadratic polynomial, with degree 2. Okay, and c is constant. C is what? C is constant. So this is what? This is a quadratic equation. So let's take an example. Let's suppose we have 6x square plus 2y plus 3 is equals to 0. So this is our quadratic equation. Okay, my dear friends, I hope you get this point. Okay, so now let's move on. Yes, the standard form of a quadratic equation. What is the standard form of the quadratic equation? So the standard form of a quadratic equation, the standard form of a quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c, which is equals to 0. Which is equals to what? 0. Okay, now in this case, a, b and c are real numbers. And most important again, a is not equals to 0. If a becomes 0, then this quadratic equation will become linear equation. Okay, if we put a is equals to 0, then this term will get 0. Okay, so now, so after this equation we have, this equation will get bx plus c, so which is a linear equation. Okay, so my dear friends, I hope you understand the concept of this part. Okay, so a is what? A is a coefficient of x square. A is what? A is a coefficient of x square, and it is also called the quadratic coefficient. It is called the quadratic coefficient. It is called the quadratic coefficient. Okay, my dear friends, and b is the coefficient of x. B is the coefficient of x, and it is called the linear coefficient. It is called the linear coefficient. Okay, my dear friends, and c is constant term. Okay, so this is the standard form of a quadratic equation. So if any of the equation is in the form of this ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0, then we can say that expression is quadratic equation. Okay, my dear friends, I hope you get this point. Okay, so now let's move on. Yes, now we are doing some examples. Okay, so the first question is that we have to check whether the following are quadratic equation or not. Following are quadratic equations or not. Okay, so for checking this, first of all we have to expand this expression and solve this expression and convert it into the simplest form. Okay, so now we have x plus 1 whole square is equals to 2 into x minus 3. Okay, so this is the form of a plus b whole square. So we know that a plus b whole square is equals to what? A square plus b square plus twice of ab plus twice of ab. Now, so this will become x square plus 1 plus twice of x. Okay, and now if we multiply 2 into the bracket, we get 2x minus 2 into 3, 6. Okay, my dear friends. So now this will become x square plus 2x minus 2x, because this 2x, if we shift this 2x to the LHS, then it will become negative. Okay, and we have plus 1, and if this minus 6 is shifting to the LHS, then we get plus 6, which is equals to 0. Okay, my dear friends. So now this will be cancelled because plus 2x and minus 2x. Okay, and we have x square plus 7, which is equals to 0. Now we are comparing this equation with our standard form. What is the standard form? We know that ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0. Okay, now what is a? We have a is equals to 1, which is coefficient of x square. What is b? Now in this equation there is not a coefficient of x, so we can write it as 0. Okay, because we can write this equation as x square plus 0 dot x plus 7 is equals to 0. Okay, because if we multiply 0 to any of the number or variable, then it will become 0. Okay, so now we can write it as also, and we have c is equals to 7. So we can say that this equation is what? Yeah, this equation is a quadratic equation. Okay, so the above equation is in the form of ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0. Okay, so we can say that the above equation is a quadratic equation. Okay, my dear friends. So now let's move on. Yes, so our next question is x minus 2 into x plus 1, which is equals to x minus 1 into x plus 3. So now again, first of all, we have to simplify this expression. So we get, if we multiply x into x plus 1, then we get and minus 2 into x plus 1. Okay, which is equals to x into x plus 3 minus 1 x plus 3. Okay, my dear friend, then it will become, if we solve it, x square plus x. Okay, if we multiply x into the bracket, then we get this minus 2x minus 2. Okay, this is equals to x square plus 3x, and this is minus x minus 3, because minus 1 if is multiply into the bracket, then all the signs will be changed. Okay, so now this is x square, and if you solve it, this will become minus x is equals to minus x minus 2, which is equals to x square plus 2x minus 3. Okay, my dear friends, now if you observe that this x square and this x square will be cancelled, and we have minus x minus 2. Now we are shifting these terms into the LHS. So we get minus 2x plus 3, which is equals to 0. Okay, so this will become minus 3x and this will become plus 1, which is equals to 0. Okay, so now therefore this equation, if you compare this equation to the ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0. Now in this case a is equals to 0 because in this equation there is no coefficient of x square. So we can say that the given equation is not a quadratic equation. So we can say that the given equation is not a quadratic equation. Okay, my dear friends, I hope you get this point. So now let's move on. Yeah, so the next question is we have now same again we have to simplify this expression. So we get 2x into x minus 3 minus 1 x minus 3, which is equals to x into x minus 1 plus 5 into x minus 1. Okay, my dear friends, now if we solve this expression we get 2x square minus 6x. Okay, 2x into 3 is 6x. Here is minus x plus 3, sign will be changed, is equals to x square minus x plus 5x minus 5. Okay, now we are shifting all the constant and variable terms to the LHS part. To the what? LHS part. So it will become 2x square minus, let's see, 6x minus x plus 3. If we shift this, then these terms will become minus x square. Okay, my dear friends, plus x minus 5x plus 5, which is equals to 0. Now 2x square minus x square, then we get x square. Okay, now in this case minus 6x and minus x, this will become minus 7x, and here is plus x minus 5x, this will become minus 4x. Okay, and plus 3 plus 5 we get plus 8, which is equals to 0. Now again if you solve this we get x square minus 7x minus 4x, we get minus 11x plus 8 is equals to 0. This is our result. So now we are comparing this equation with the ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0. Then we get a is equals to 1, b is equals to minus 11, c is equals to 8. Now, so we can say that, the above equation is quadratic equation. Okay, my dear friends, I hope you understand the concept of the quadratic equation. So if you see the question similar like this, then first of all you have to simplify the questions in the simplest form. Then we can say that the expression is in the form of ax square plus bx plus c or not. Okay, I hope you get this point. So now let's move on. Yes, we have another question. So the question is x cube minus 4x square minus x plus 1 is equals to x minus 2 whole cube. Okay, so now we have to again simplify this equation. So this expression is like a minus b whole cube. So what is the formula of this? The formula of this expression is a cube minus b cube minus 3ab bracket a minus b. So this is the formula. Okay, now we have to put these equation, we have to solve this equation like this. Okay, so x cube minus 4x square minus x plus 1 is equals to x cube minus 2 cube minus 3 into x into 2 bracket x minus 2. Okay, so this will become x cube minus 4x square minus x plus 1, which is equals to x cube minus 8 minus 6x minus 6x into x minus 2. Okay, my dear friends, so now if we observe this x cube and this x cube will be cancelled. Okay, and here is we have minus 4x square minus x plus 1, which is equals to minus 8 minus 6x square, and we get plus 12x. Okay, now again shift all these terms to the LHS. So we get 4x square minus x plus 1 plus 8 plus 6x square minus 12x, which is equals to 0. Now if we solve it, we have minus 4x square plus 6x square, so we get 2x square. Okay, and we have minus x and minus 12, so we get minus 13x, and plus 1 plus 8 is plus 9, which is equals to 0. Okay, my dear friends, now if we compare this equation with ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0, so we get a is equals to 2, b is equals to minus 13, and c is equals to 9. So we can say that the equation is a quadratic equation. Okay, my dear friends, I hope you get this point. So now let's move on. Yeah, so the next question is, represent the following situation in the form of quadratic equation. Now we have to represent this situation in the quadratic equation. So what is the situation? So the area of a rectangular plot is 528 meters square. Okay, the length of the plot, okay, which is in meters, is 1 more than twice its breadth. So we need to find the length and breadth of the plot. Now my dear friends, first of all, let us consider that breadth of rectangular field or plot, okay, is equals to x meter, is equals to what? X meter. And so the length will become length of rectangular plot, because according to the question, the length of the plot is 1 more than twice its breadth is 1 more than twice its breadth. So twice its breadth means 2x, and 1 more than means plus 1, which is in meter. Okay, my dear friends. Then, as we know, okay, as we know that area of rectangle is equals to what? Length into breadth. Okay, so what is length? We have length is 2x plus 1 into breadth is x. Now we know that the area of rectangle is 528, okay, which is equals to 2x plus 1 bracket into x. Okay, so now if we solve it, we get 528 is equals to 2x square plus x. 2x square plus x. So now if we solve it, we get 2x square plus x minus 528 is equals to 0. So this is a quadratic equation. This is what? This is a quadratic equation. Okay, my dear friends, I hope you get this point. So now let's move on. Yes. So the next question is, the product of two consecutive positive integers is what? 306. So we need to find the integers. Okay, we have to find the integer. So now, so let us consider the first number is x. The first number is what? Is x. Okay, so the next consecutive positive integer will be x plus 1. So my dear friends, what is consecutive positive integer? So consecutive means a step ahead. Means let's suppose we are taking a number 5. So the consecutive number of 5 is 6. Means we have to add 1 to the previous number. So then we get the next number, which is the consecutive positive integer. Okay, I hope you get this point. So now, so according to question, product of two consecutive integer is x into x plus 1, which is equals to 306, which is equals to what? 306. So we get x square plus x, which is equals to 306. Okay, so now this will become x square plus x minus 306 is equals to 0. So this equation is what? This equation is our, we can say this is quadratic equation. So my dear friends, I hope you understand these things, how to deal with these questions. Okay, so now this is enough for today, and we will meet in the next lecture, okay, with the amazing topic. So thank you very much guys for listening me, and take care and goodbye.